Welcome to Reach the World ASAP. I'm Pastor Scott Griswold, and I'm delighted to bring you a story from one of the Feed and Read schools in Cambodia that ASAP Ministries supports. Lang skipped school again. His mother was really worried. I've looked all over for him and finally found him playing with his friends, and I don't like who he's running around with. He's going to really get in trouble if we don't do something. Lang's dad just shook his head. I don't know what to do with him. He just won't listen. At the end of the school year, these two parents went to Lang's school to check his work. There were only 2 lessons filled out in his entire school notebook. They knew they had to do something or he would grow up to be as poor as his parents. Somehow, they got connected with our Feed and Read school there in Phnom Penh. They were so thankful to be able to place Lang where he could have committed teachers and a loving environment. But would he stay in class or keep running away like before? Lang loved his new school. He took off. He became good at writing and at math too. One day he showed up at the church where most of the students love to go every Saturday. He really enjoyed it. Soon he was eagerly opening the Bible, participating in the discussion. Pastor Hang Dara, who oversees the school, saw potential in Lang. He asked him, "Would you like to learn to preach?" Of course, but could he? Now this boy, who had been a disobedient delinquent, has his heart set on becoming a pastor someday. What could turn a boy around like that? It's the love of God coming to the students through dedicated Christ-like teachers. One of them is Socheat. Socheat teaches 5th grade, and he said, I used to be just like Lang, skipping school, making my parents all worried as I ran around with my friends. God has helped me change, and now I can help these children too. Socheat didn't tell us how he became a Christian, but he did tell us a story that really formed his character, that made him the kind of person who can now help boys like Lang. It was the first semester of his freshman year in university. Somehow, with all his parents scolding and prodding, he had made it through high school. He now had the solid goal of being a teacher, and he was determined to study. The problem was that one of the core classes had a class period on Friday nights. As a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, he knew that at creation, God had set aside as holy the 7th day of the week, from sundown Friday night to sundown Saturday night. Ever since he'd become a Christian, he had determined to honor his Creator by putting aside work and school for those 24 hours. But how could he skip a class every week and pass? Did it really matter? Was it that important? Socheat loved worshiping God, and he was so grateful to Jesus for dying for the many sins he'd committed as a boy. He knew the Sabbath was right at the heart of the 10 Commandments, and he did not want to grieve his Savior by disobeying. So he chose to go to the church to worship every Friday night. Meanwhile, his absentee record built up. Finally, he was called into the president's office. Socheat, what's the problem? You can't keep studying here if you're failing in a core class. You might as well stop. The president didn't give him a chance to explain anything. He just dismissed him. Socheat went off to pray. I'm going to spend the whole day in prayer. Father, please touch that man's heart. Help him to let me keep studying. That night, he decided to go back to school as if nothing had happened. But the president saw him, called him into his office. Tell me, why is it you've missed so many classes? Is it because you don't like the subject? Do you have something against the teacher? Socheat sent up a quick prayer in his heart. No, sir. I do not study on Friday nights because I believe in Jesus, and I want to obey him and keep the Sabbath holy, as he asked us in his Bible. Saturday is the only day he blessed, and it begins with the sun going down on Friday until Saturday night. The president was surprised. Are you expecting me to make an exception for you, to just let you skip classes? None of the other Christian students in this school have ever asked for such special treatment. Socheat tried to explain that there were different denominations with different beliefs, but that Seventh-day Adventists believed that Jesus and his disciples also kept the Sabbath, that it's an important sign of a person's belief in their Creator. The president listened carefully and then said, I think I understand what you're saying, but you must simply know you will have to choose between your good day or this fine university. Socheat respectfully said, I'm sorry, Mr. President. I really want to study at this school, but if I have to choose between the two, I will continue to keep the Sabbath. The president stared at him. Are you really saying you will choose to keep your holy day and lose the opportunity for a great education? It's that important to me. But please, sir, can't you find a way to work with me on this? The man just sat silently. 10 minutes went by. It felt like the longest 10 minutes in Socheat's life. Then suddenly, he dismissed him. Socheat wandered the halls, waiting, wondering. He saw the president call the teacher of his class into his office. They were there a long time. What would happen? What would he do if his dream of being a teacher was crushed? God, please, this is for you, not for me. It's because I believe in you, because I trust in you as my creator, my friend. Please work it out. Suddenly, the door of the office opened. Come in here, Socheat. Sit down. We've decided to not count the absences from the previous class towards your grade. As long as you study here, you can keep your Sabbath. But if an exam falls on Friday night or Saturday, it's up to you to make prior arrangements with your teachers to take the exams on a different day. Socheat didn't move. Was he hearing right? He could finish college. He stood up and thanked the president and his teacher over and over. For the next 4 years, Socheat walked the halls, free to keep God's Sabbath holy, because he had taken a stand and put his trust in God. I am so thankful to have a teacher like that preparing other young people to serve God in our Feed and Read schools. I love to visit those schools and encourage both the teachers and the students in their good work. If you'd like to partner with me in helping this happen, please go to asapministries.org. Look under the section Education. There are opportunities for small gifts as well as ongoing sponsorships. I want to have that same loyalty to God as Socheat, don't you? The Bible is clear that at the end of time, the Sabbath will be important in the final battle between good and evil. Do you remember those texts from Revelation? Revelation 12:17 speaks of the dragon, Satan, who will especially attack the people who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. That includes the Sabbath. Revelation 13 speaks about the end-time beast power who will seek to force people to worship a certain way that's contrary to what God has commanded. In light of that final struggle comes the clear call in Revelation 14, verse 7. Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea and springs of water. That is a direct quote from the Ten Commandments, and it is God's wake-up call to a world that has forgotten both the seventh-day Sabbath and the Creator God. At sabbathtruth.com, you can read much more about the Sabbath straight from the Bible. If it is already something you enjoy weekly, it's a good site you can share with others. I believe that Jesus is coming soon. I believe right now he is working in all of our hearts to prepare a people who are ready for his return. Ready because they have surrendered to the wonderful salvation that Jesus has made possible at the cross, a salvation that sets us free from our guilt and from our sin of breaking God's law. Let's be ready. Let's help others be ready. Together, let's reach the world ASAP.